Getting fitter, stronger, and in better shape is not just for people in their 20s and 30s, and our guests today are definitely proof of that. Over the last couple of years, we've been lucky enough to add several master's level clients to the Digital Barbell team, and we've got 3 of them with us today. Thank you all for being here.
What does that mean, masters?
It means that you have advanced past the point of being a beginner, an inexperienced rookie type person, and you have just mastered so many things in life. How do you like that explanation?
But not dumbbells. So we're clear.
But we've got Jeff, who's in Pennsylvania. We have John, who's in Rhode Island. And we have Carol, who's in San Antonio, Texas. And the first thing I really want to know from you guys each is, how did you find Digital Barbell, and what in the world made you want to reach out to us to work with us? So Carol, why don't you start with that?
Well, mine's the easiest. Because my son is a friend of yours. And I worked out with you guys in Houston, right? I mean, that's where he met you. And he bugged me off and on for a while about trying to sign up. I did my own thing, and then I stopped doing my own thing. And then I realized I needed to do a thing.
So there was a lag in between the time that you were doing your own thing and when you got up the gumption to reach out, I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How long of a period was that?
2 years, probably 2 years.
Okay. I think that's pretty common. John, what about you? How did you find us, and why did you reach out?
Well, my older daughter, who is a fitness freak and has been for years, and she's a yoga instructor, spin instructor, as well as being a full-time teacher in the public school system. She listens to your podcast and has for a while. And I've always been kind of a gym rat, done my own thing. And she mentioned to me before I got involved with you folks about your podcast, and that I should listen to it. She actually told me to listen to a couple, like number 15 and number 17. She said, those would really apply to you if you listen to them. I listened to them, and I thought, maybe I should give this a tumble. And I think I reached out to you guys just before my wife and I went to Florida for a couple of months, and we agreed that I could start in June when I got back.
Yeah,
which is what happened. And it's been what an experience. Blakely works you hard. I'll tell that to anybody. If you get involved, expect to be worked hard. But it sure is worth it.
Cool.
It's really worth it. And the thing that I would just like to really stress about Digital Barbell and what you guys do is that there's this feeling of somebody's actually paying attention to me and what I'm doing and watching my progress. Whenever I send a question or make a silly comment, Blakely sends me an answer. I did the nutrition for about 3 months, I think. And Jonathan, you were right on top with that. You know, I got the podcast, the video from you every week, and everything's it's about encouragement. But I really like the fact that you feel like someone's looking over your shoulder and looking out for you. So that's been my experience.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
It's been interesting to kind of transition, have Blakely having owned a physical gym and, working with people where you're looking at their face, transitioning that to an online platform. That's always been the goal, is to try to maintain as much of that as possible. What about you, Jeff? How did you find us, and how did you get up the gumption to reach out and sign up for coaching?
Well, I've got a lot of some chronic things from sports injuries, a couple of car accidents, and I've always have stayed pretty active. I've had different times in my life where I worked with a trainer or a gym. Just the line of work that I'm in, we have a large property, just kind of need to be able to stay strong and stay active. And my son, Grayson, is the one that told me about you guys. Mm-hmm. And so it didn't take much convincing. I think I had to think about it for a couple of months, but I knew the value if I decided to pull the trigger. And I know you have to sometimes just get mentally there to do it. Mm-hmm. And I think actually there's a lot of things that I echo what John said. But I think one of the things that has meant the most to me is that, I told you what some of my challenges are. I tend to have that scoliosis a little bit. I tend to have some chronic shoulder stuff, and just really paying attention to what I should do, what I should not do. And we keep tweaking things, but it's really the strength that I've gotten back is just phenomenal. I think my arms are as big as they were back when I was in my 20s and 30s. Seriously, I can stand up from a sitting position without having to use my hands.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the everyday stuff that I remember when I first, before I signed up, sometimes half and half, sometimes the caps are stuck on tighter than other times.
Yes.
There were times when I'm like, gosh, I cannot get that loose. Now, no problem. And so it's, I think for people my age, I'm 65, that if you think about, if the Lord gives you another 20 years to live, the quality of life obviously is very important. And having strength to get out of a chair, to get off the ground, to open something, is huge. I mean, you cannot underestimate how important that is. And you both obviously love what you do, and you care about people, and that comes across very well. Plus, you try to be funny, and I think you are funny.
That was very good that you added that. Hi, and you are.
You got to be careful there, Jeff. We're working on your next week program this weekend, so careful what you say.
Listen, Jonathan talked my boys into getting me a box. And, I'm doing dips now. I'm doing 20-inch step-ups instead of 14-inch. So, yeah, I know Jonathan.
Well, Carol, you've actually been working with us the longest. Blakely's been coaching you for over a year and a half now. And I know you've done a lot of things with, fitness in your past, but I'm assuming you'd never worked specifically with an online trainer. Was there anything you were nervous about that experience, and how do you feel that the process has kind of worked for you overall since you started? As far as the technology side, and what things you might have been unsure about?
I wasn't really concerned about the technology side. I've just never worked with a trainer. So the fact that I had met you guys helped me, because I'm not a person who really likes to be told what to do. So there was a learning curve for understanding that not doing the same thing 3 times a week doesn't build you any increasing strength, which is what I was after. So I was really pretty comfortable from the beginning. The technology's been really easy to use. I wasn't so sure about the app because I'm not a big app person, but that's been easy. They did some software update a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, and I was like, oh, this is so annoying. Now it's like a little bit different.
Yeah.
That all worked out fine.
Yeah, I think a lot of people felt that way when that update rolled out, us included.
I know.
But Blakely's been wonderful, and I echo the comments that have already been made about responsiveness and personal attention. It's nice to have somebody that will say, well, if that hurts, don't do it this way, do it that way, or don't do it at all, because it makes a big difference. And I can still do the rest of my workout, just don't do that thing that is hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing you brought up. I think a lot of people who've never had a coach would just assume if they feel something weird during a workout, it's time to just call it a day.
Right.
But I think all 3 of you would know that that's not our strategy or our mentality around.
And honestly, at our ages, which I assume we're all in a similar age bracket.
Masters.
Masters, that's right. There's going to be always something that hurts. I mean, that's just the way life is. But I have realized that old use it or lose it phrase is really accurate, because when I don't feel like exercising and then I do, everything feels better, except for my hip right now, but that's
yeah. We're all working through something, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Could
John-
I add to what you're saying there?
Yeah,
It's
Jeff,
like,
go ahead.
After workouts, I don't tend to hurt. I probably hurt more since working out. I started 9 months ago than before I started working out. But the difference is I'm not injured and having that kind of pain.
Yeah.
And then it's limiting. So it is expectation wise. Yeah, I think will hurt differently, but it's a good hurt. And also when it comes with age, but the right kind of hurt.
It lets you know you're doing something.
Yes.
Because, you know, we're gonna hurt in some way as we get older, no matter what. We might as well have a good quality of life while we have little aches and pains as we age also. John, you're a veteran and a self-described gym rat, like you said. And I know when we started talking about working together, you kind of gave us a rundown of what you were doing in the gym. How is what you've done since joining Digital Barbell different from what you were doing on your own when you think about what you do on a day-to-day basis in the gym?
Well, I'll tell you that there's a huge difference. For years ago, I did engage a personal trainer at a gym, and that person showed me certain things to do, you know, certain progressions, so that I wouldn't hurt myself as I got stronger, you know, like useful things like warming up and stuff like that, and how many reps are good. And over the years, I've kept some of those things going, like how many reps and stuff. 12 reps was always what I did of whatever exercise I was doing. With you guys, it's like 8 to 15, or sometimes 10 to 12. But where I am now is I feel like I'm organized. What you've done is organized my exercise effort. You call it training, and I like that word, that description better. My training is organized. And I really like the app, by the way. Even with the software change or the upgrade or whatever, I think it works well. It always worked well for me. I like the fact that you have those demonstration videos for some of the. No matter how many times I've been told how to do like pull down with the you know, I still forget how to do it. And you guys are there showing me how to do it. And I think that's really. It goes hand in glove with the way you guys do your program. It's like everything that you do is offered to us as clients to make us do it right and do it better and want to do it. See, so I do it 3 days a week with you guys, and I look forward to each time I do that. Even though a lot of times the night before I'll look and see what Blakely's got in store for me, boom, and go, oh my God, no, I'm gonna ruin my knees, but I have artificial knees. But I think I sent a note to Blakely once about how my knees don't hurt anymore. I don't have any muscle ache or fatigue around my knees at all.
It's just awesome.
So my legs are strengthened. A lot of what you have given me since I started with the program involves my legs, and I needed that. So I kind of lost. I think I went off the track with your original.
I remember, you know, it seemed like before you kind of had a routine that you would repeat day after day in the gym, and and as you probably learned from, you know, reading our content and our emails and just the training that you do with Blakely, that when we do the same thing over and over again, our body adapts to it, and then that's it. We never continue to get better. And now your training is different every day a little bit. You know, you're doing a lot of the same basic exercises that are super important, but I imagine you're doing a lot of things that you never did before, different exercises, that kind of stuff.
Burpee.
Burpee. Yes.
I can't do those things. My knees, and I have an artificial hip as well. I was a paratrooper for 30 years. I really did a job of myself, and I had to replace those joints, and so I'm somewhat hobbled. In like burpees, I just can't do them without looking like a fool. But I do most everything else. But
we all look like a fool when we do burpees, John.
Well, I was going to say, I think I look pretty bad, but there's nobody in my bedroom with me. So
I do it I go to Planet Fitness. Okay.
Yeah.
And they have everything I need. They have a nice workout area because we do barbell stuff. We do dumbbells mostly on weights and stuff, and they have everything I need. So I wish I did have a home gym, but
yeah.
But I just also wanted to say that because with the exercise training program I've got from you guys, I always constantly evaluate it against what I used to do, and what I used to do was not doing me any good. It really wasn't. I don't think it never hurts to exercise. I don't care how foolish it may, what you're doing may look, but what you guys have done is organize my effort to stay fit and get fitter. That's what I really appreciate. It's organized now and it makes sense. And my daughter, my fitness freak daughter, came to the gym a few times with me and corrected me, like when I'm doing curls, because I was trying to pick up too much weight and moving my arms. And he said, "No, you got to hold your arms down like this and just lift." And then I had to drop down a little. So I find myself looking at other people doing what I used to do, thinking, digital barbell.
The coach becomes the coach.
Yes.
The coached becomes the coach. Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
But Jeff, you've got about 200 grandkids, last I counted, and adding to the list all the time. And as you mentioned, you live on a big piece of property, and it takes a lot for you to manage that. And we've talked about some of the projects that you've done. What are some of the other ways that everything you've built up over the last 9 months we've been working together have translated over to those things that you have to do as part of your regular life and keeping up with family and stuff? Talk about some of those projects.
You've seen videos of Declan, Grayson's 4-year-old that is just, he's solid muscle. And I would bet he probably weighs 50 pounds.
Wow.
The fact that I can actually pick him up and put him over my shoulder and not feel like I'm going to drop him, that's such an awesome thing. Yeah. Getting down, moving around. And also, cardio, no one has even mentioned that, which is just kind of a byproduct, which has also been really helpful. But we just harvested 25 trees because the ash trees are all dying because of the Chinese beetle or boar. And so I was out helping with some of that, picking up branches and logs. And just to be able to move and not feel like I'm going to pull something. I used to, many years ago, because of some of the chronic things, I would go to the chiropractor at least once a month, often 2 or 3 times a month. I go once a year, twice a year. And when I go, I'm hardly out. So what I'm finding is that when I exercise, and particularly with you guys, because you're addressing all of the muscles, so for me, I know you have to watch that I don't build up too much chest, because then I can start humping over. But you're bringing more balance into my body, so it's less likely I'm going to hurt myself when I go and do something. So that's knowledge that you have. It's not just, like John was saying, you go to a gym and they just give you these routines. You really tailor it to the person, which is huge. That I can't not overestimate how important that is, and probably one of the main reasons that I'm continuing to do this with you guys.
Yeah, that makes us really happy to hear that, because that's goes back to the quality of life for sure. Both getting to enjoy that time with grandkids and being capable to take care of your land and that kind of stuff. Because, when you lose the ability to do that, that's a trickle down effect where it puts that responsibility on somebody else, or it makes you have to move to a smaller place. And, it's bigger than just having those guns like you had when you were in your 20s. Carol, you've also got some grandkids to keep up with. How have you seen your ability to do that change since you've been training so regularly?
It's been significantly noticeable. I do not pick up my 120-pound 12-year-old grandson, and I wouldn't be doing that under any circumstances. But the 35-pound 3-year-old, I don't put him on my shoulder, Jeff, but I can pick him up, and he likes to run at you full speed, and hasn't knocked me over. The 3-month-old is not a problem because he's only 10 pounds. So, but that was really probably one of my biggest motivations, was to ensure that I was going to be physically able to play soccer with them, or not play soccer, but kick the ball, run after the ball, throw the ball, and pick them up when they want to be picked up.
Yeah.
I also volunteer 2 days a week for about 8 hours a day, where I am lifting and moving a lot of boxes, packing stuff up, a lot of overhead stuff, and that's been incredibly improved. I still get frustrated sometimes because I dropped a box on my finger the other day that was because I was trying to pick up something that was too heavy for me, but it's been it's been life-changing, I think.
I think you brought up something that goes overlooked a lot, in that, like, you learn through doing this training with weights how to actually pick things up safely in your regular life.
Oh yeah.
Most people get hurt because they're, putting something in their trunk and they're not thinking about how they're bracing, or they're reaching back in their seat to get something, or they're putting the lawn, whatever. That, that pays off in the long run, knowing how to move.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I've had no on the volunteer job injuries.
I'm sure they're glad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're glad. So.
John, we talk a lot about, in all of our content everywhere, about kind of the mental game, because anytime you are trying to take on something physical, or you're even starting to really pay attention to your nutrition, there's a huge mental aspect of it. What do you say to the person who is kind of afraid, coming from the mental side, about starting a training program? They're afraid they're not going to be able to do it, or they're intimidated, that kind of thing.
That's an interesting question. I think what I would describe first would be the results. Like, this is where I was when I started with training, and this is where I am today. Mm-hmm. And this is how I got there. The thing that might discourage some people from training is where they do their training. Some people, like I do it at the gym, and I don't care who sees me doing what I'm doing. I just don't care. But other people do care. They care who's watching what they do. And not all of us can afford to have a home gym. So there's that aspect of, where do I go to do what it is they want me to do? What worked in favor of me selecting you guys to train me was my initial conversations with you. Okay, you put me at ease. Jonathan especially, and Blakely, both of you put me at ease. I don't think I had a lot of fears about it, because, like I said, I've been around gyms for years. But I was, not fear, but the question I had in my mind was, how effective is this going to be? Are they going to be like all the other programs you hear about? You see them on TV, with the room full of people with the gyrations or whatever. And I know my other daughter, over the years, has joined these things only to fizzle out of it. She and her explanation was, well, it's just, there's no one's looking over my shoulder, no one's following me, no one's tracking me. And so I guess I would tell somebody who's thinking about training, the best thing about digital barbell and what you guys do is, like I said earlier, you get the feeling like you care, you watch, you track, you make suggestions, and most importantly, you listen to me when I tell you about the limitations I think I have. And I think you talk to me about, well, maybe that's not a limitation. Maybe some working will make the limitation go away. Like I said about my knees, that pain went away. So I guess, I don't know if I've answered your question, but I would first of all encourage someone to do it, to train, and especially with you guys. And I would say, also ask all the questions that you can think of about what the training entails, what it's going to do for you, what it's done for other people, testimonies, that kind of thing. Does that answer your question, or did I wander too far afield?
No, it makes sense. I think probably the big takeaway from that is to just try to replace some of that fear with knowing that, at least if you work with us, like there's somebody going to be watching you, helping to displace those fears that you have, and, not just handing you a spreadsheet of what to do and saying, see you in a few months, that kind of thing.
Well, you know what else is, I would too, is like, you have a Facebook page, people post on there, and I get notified when somebody posts to your page, and I always go to see what's going on and listen to your podcasts. So, the more you listen, the more we get to know, as clients, we get to know you and where you're coming from. And that's important too. So I would say to somebody at the outset, listen to some of the podcasts. Like I listened to your number 15 and your 17. I think it was those two. And what I heard there convinced me to explore and contact you. And we did have a nice conversation. So getting to know who you want, getting to know the trainer is important before you engage the trainer to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeff, you changing gear. Oh, go ahead, Carol.
I just wanted to jump on something that John said, so that people aren't afraid. Like if you're one of those people that doesn't like to go to the gym, which is me, because I don't like people watching me exercise, because a lot of men are like critical, like, anyway, you don't need a big home gym. I don't have a home gym. I exercise in my bedroom. I already had 2 sets of barbells and dumbbells. They're not barbells.
Dumbbells.
And I've added to that, asking for them as gifts. And I got my 30 pounds for Christmas. So, and I'm not going to get anything heavier than that, because that, I think I'm fine with plateauing there. But with bands and some little gadgets that Blakely has recommended for being able to do pull downs and stuff like that, you don't have to invest in a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the dumbbells can be expensive, but so that's all. I just wanted to. You shouldn't be afraid. If you don't want to go to the gym, you can have your own space at home.
Yeah, Jeff works out in his basement with it's kind of like his own little dungeon down there with a pool table and a treadmill that may or may not work.
Yeah, so I've got the box, bands, a ball, and dumbbells that go up to 45 pounds. So I'm sure and I got the bands I got to send you pictures of that you put around your legs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And a jump rope. I got a jump rope for Chris. Oh, I didn't tell you that, did I? So, I mean, but I agree a lot with everything that has just been said about, overcoming the fear, just doing it. And I know some people need someone to work out with, like my son really needs that. You know what, if I put a show on or music, for me personally, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah. How many times have I commented on your workout videos? Don't be looking at the TV while you're doing your squats. Let's focus.
Well, I like when the
issue.
I like when the grandkids come down and mix it up sometimes. That's
Oh my gosh. I got to get Jeff to get rid of these magnetic things that he has, where he has 120-pound dumbbell and 125-pound dumbbell. Not a pair, he has singles, but he bought these magnets that you can stick on to the sides. The only problem is they don't stick that well. So for anything where he's laying on his back, pushing those up over his head, we don't.
We don't use those.
I've lost no teeth and I haven't broken any toes.
Yet. I told Grayson that should be at the top of the Christmas list, was a match to those missing pairs of dumbbells, but I don't think
I bought them as pairs. Somebody borrowed one of the, I don't know why, and never returned them.
Oh no.
And that person's not in my life any longer.
Yeah. Well, they deserve it. After stealing the dumbbell.
Yeah.
Well, the True Coach app that you guys use, you can't see this on your side, but on the coach's side, it ranks all of our clients by consistency. their 7, their 14, and their 30-day
Mhm.
consistency. And that's basically how often are they doing their workouts. And you guys are always at the top of
Yeah.
that list. And I know that requires you to prioritize your workouts. So how do you structure your day, your week, to make sure that getting your workouts in is a priority? Go ahead, Jeff, because the camera's on you.
Well, my office is built onto the home, and some days I'm out, some days I'm not. My son-in-law, who works for me, and then my wife, it's nice because they both kind of can help guard my time, and they both know that it's really important. And so what I try to do is you give me 4 a week. I don't think I've ever done 4. I really do 3 pretty much, but I try to plan it that I come over around 4:00. Workout takes me 45 minutes, 50 minutes, somewhere in there. I come up, and the dinner's usually within about a half an hour, 45 minutes. I figure my metabolism is up, so I'll burn through the calories at the meal. Sometimes I'll have like a glass of red wine. And it's really kind of a wind down time for me. I'm a morning person. I am absolutely not a morning exercise person. And I just, I've tried it different times, but it's like, I got to do what's easy.
Mhm.
So I think a key is, if you're going to do this, you guys are doing everything that you need to do and then some, but I think it's finding where can you do it and when can you do it, where you'll get the least interference in being able to accomplish what you want to do.
Right. To reducing that friction.
Yeah.
What about you, Carol?
I do 3 rounds a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because my volunteer work is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm not employed. I have household responsibilities, but I can do them whenever I want to. So, and I work out in the morning mostly. We get up, walk the dog a couple miles, come back, and then sometimes I don't even eat until afterwards, because I don't like to exercise not that I eat a whole lot. Every once in a while, if I have an appointment early, then I have to put it off. And like 2 weeks ago, I exercised at like 7:00 at night, and I did not like that at all. I was ready for bed when I finished at 8. I don't really want to do it this way. So I agree with you, Jeff, that you have to find the time that speaks to our bodies are all different. Body clocks are different. Find what works for you.
Yeah. And working with you in particular have like really it's really been impressive to me how you adjust based on like if y'all travel or if you're visiting some of your children, you'll just be like, okay, I'm going to be here and this is the gym situation and I'll take 3 days with bands only, or I'll be at, my son's gym and it's been really cool to see you navigate through everything you guys have done. I mean, you've never missed a beat in a year and a half.
Well, if I'm sometimes on Fridays get a little tricky sometimes, like yesterday, we were going to have a bunch of people over for dinner. So I thought, I don't really have time to work out this morning because I haven't finished cleaning up from having them all here for Christmas.
Yeah.
And there are little fingerprints all over the place. So I did my yesterday's workout today. I mean, it's nice having the weekend to kind of catch up.
Yeah, to adjust. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you've said, try not to do back-to-backs because that's not the best scenario for me, especially anyway.
Yeah.
But I have done that occasionally.
Yeah, every once in a while.
So
Yeah.
John, how do you prioritize your day to make sure you get your workouts in throughout the week?
Me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I go to the gym, like I said earlier, and I go in the morning. I usually leave here around 8:30, and I'll get there at 8:45. It's a good time for me because the area I want to work out in, where the weights are, it's usually kind of empty at that point, so I can slide right in there and do my thing. So I do that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. During the spring and summer, when I play golf as often as I can, sometimes the tee time will interfere with that. with that schedule. So I'll slide it to the next day, but I usually tell Blakely that I can't do it today. And she'll say, no problem, just do it tomorrow. So I'll do it on Tuesday or Thursday or Saturday. So it's always worked out for me. Tuesday and Thursday, when I'm not doing my training, I usually go to the gym and I ride the bike for an hour. Sometimes I'll do a superset like I saw you do one day, Jonathan, of something, maybe some closed grip bench presses or something. But that's Tuesday and Thursday, and Saturday I'll go. Like today, I went and rode the bike for an hour.
Wow.
So I'm at the gym 6 days a week.
Wow.
You are a gym rat.
He is. When he had COVID, I was having to hold him back. I was like, you need to rest. You need to rest.
Yeah.
Let your body recover.
I had to slow down when I had COVID. That's for sure. And because I had to isolate and I couldn't go. So you were nice enough to give me some band exercises to do at home. But that's my schedule.
I think the big takeaway is you guys, you have a schedule. That is the thing that helps you remain so consistent, is at this time of day, that is your workout time. And on the days that you're not working out, you're doing this. And you plan ahead, or if things happen and you can't work out at the time that is your scheduled time, it's not a total loss. You move it to the next day, or you get it in when you can. And that's the thing that holds a lot of people back, because they feel like if it isn't perfect, what's the point of even trying?
Or if you miss it, it's gone. Like you guys, are in a good habit of just like moving it and adjusting on the fly.
Yeah. That's where we want to give you a lot of credit.
Yes.
That's why you've made the progress that you have, all of you guys. Well, I want to wrap up. Is there anything else that you guys want to bring up, or Blakely, do you have anything else you want to add?
I'll let them go first.
I don't get the toilet and the shower in the same thing. I'm sorry.
You what?
Oh, the toilet, the trailer.
Talking about the tour of our camper. It's not that the toilet's in the shower; it's that they're both in the bathroom.
Yes,
the toilet is in the shower. Toilet is in the shower.
It's just like on a boat that you sleep on. It's a bathroom, and you shower in it. And
that's right.
Other things are right there.
Other things.
I mean, my sister has lived overseas for many years, and after seeing that video, she says, this thing is not any smaller than most of the apartments over here in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And the wet baths are pretty common.
I just wanted to throw one other thing out too.
Sure.
And that has to do with the nutrition side of things. When I first started with you guys, I did nutrition for 3 months. And I opted not to do it after that, but I didn't stop doing what you taught me. The macros that you gave me for, calories and carbs and protein, and I still follow it. I lost 10 pounds in those 3 months. And in the months since, I've lost another 12 pounds, I think, just by doing my training, but sticking with the nutrition hints and guidance that you gave me. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because I think the nutrition part is important. I've learned about portions, and through the process, I sit down to have a meal. When I'm half done with my meal, I'm usually full, unlike before when I would eat the whole plate and maybe another half a plate. That's all changed for me, and I think it makes a difference.
Yeah, and those numbers that you threw out as far as your weight loss is concerned is definitely skewed, because I know that you've built a significant amount of muscle in the time that you've been training with Blakely also, which by volume weighs more than fat. So, maybe you've lost 30 pounds of fat, but you've built muscle in the process also. I see Carol's videos. I see some of your videos, John. I see Jeff's videos all the time. All of you guys should be proud of the muscle tone and mass that you guys have built. I mean, you all look like athletic people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you go out in a t-shirt, people are like, boy, what does that person do? They have some triceps popping out of those shirts.
It's just proof as you get to increase those weights, like Carol was saying, each Christmas, asking for heavier dumbbells, it's really just like evidence of you're just getting stronger, and it's really cool to watch.
Yeah.
So can you do anything about crepey skin now? It looks real good when I do this, but if I bend over.
I think something. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. You go ahead.
I think I was sort of doubtful whether, I was 64 when I started this, whether I could get to even where I am now,
Mhm.
and it's 9 months in, and it's like I've been a little surprised, to be honest with you, that you know when you get older, you can still continue to build muscle
Yeah.
and tighten
Yep.
things up.
Yeah.
And like what happens, a year from now for us, 2 years from now for us, we're getting older, but do we really have to be aging?
Yeah.
Just a little bit at a time.
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Good
not
question.
the way that I think a lot of us, or I know myself over the years, how I've always thought about getting older.
Mhm.
That you're going to start losing it. There's nothing you can do about that. And of course, we're going to get older and we're going to die. Sure, everyone is, but it doesn't mean that you have to go down fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we should go on record as, because Jeff has said his age twice. I'm 69. I mean, and John, how old are you?
I'll be 73 next month.
Okay, so just so that the listeners know, we're not talking about 60 or 61.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we're moving on.
Do you guys find that now that you have, kind of adopted this fitness lifestyle, that you hear your cohort saying things kind of in the tune that Jeff was talking about like how they feel hopeless, or, oh yeah, just getting old, it's part of getting old, or they
Yeah.
complain. Do you notice those kinds of things more now?
Yep. I see that my buddies, when I play golf, I hear about aches and pains and stuff like that. And they're all about my age or pretty close. So yes, and golf is the exercise pretty much that those guys get. That's it. They don't do anything on the side, just play golf.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. People, I think I worried about it. I mean, like I say, I've been going to the gym for years, so I thought this has got to help. But yeah, I think we all, once we hit, I hit 70, it's like, oh God, I'm 70. Now what? Another phase of life begins. How is it going to end? So, good question, Jeff. I really.
I think we feel. I think we feel sad too for people that we love and care about. Whether they've got to lose a bunch of weight or they're starting to get arthritis in their hands, because we're all believers now with right nutrition. Now, genetics, sure. Did someone smoke their whole life? Sure. But the body has amazing ability to recuperate if you feed it right and you exercise and you lose the weight. And I just feel sad sometimes for people that I love, that I know it could be different, but it has to kind of get in here.
Yeah.
And you can only talk so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a tough spot to be in, and we can definitely identify with that.
Yeah.
And you have to just continue to set an example as much as you can and be ready, willing, and able to give support when it's needed.
Yeah. I think the proof is in how I've seen it spread, at least through Carol's family. Now the third member of her family has joined and is doing some training with us. And then,
Killing her.
And then
first week's always busy.
Jeff's family and extended family, the count is like probably 8 to 10 members. Yeah. And it's just been really cool to watch how it spreads.
Yeah.
And everybody supports each other.
Yeah, it's a huge part of
it.
it.
I had the 3-year-old doing planks with me.
I saw that. That was amazing.
Did she video?
Oh yeah, I got some sneak videos.
I told her when we finished, I went into the living room. She and Wilson were doing something, and I said, Blakely put as my last assignment to have a plank off with Madeline and Wilson. And they both went, no.
Yeah.
We don't want to.
All of their planks are great.
Yeah. So Carol, the ultimate plank for you is you get in the plank formation and then she climbs on your back.
Ooh, okay. The challenge has been raised.
Yeah.
I don't know if he weighs 40 pounds the next time I see him, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
If you do, roll tape on it. We want to see that.
Okay.
Well, I really appreciate all your time. I know Blakely appreciates your time. We are just so thankful to have you guys as clients, and we're inspired by the way that you continue to be consistent and improve. So thank you guys, definitely. And thank you for coming on here to inspire anybody that listens to this, regardless of their age. They can continue to make progress. And get older without aging.
Yep.
I like the way you said that,
Me
Jen.
too.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for
And
not
for the
showing
long
any
haul.
photos too.
For not showing photos.
Yeah, of us.
Oh.
Video.
Hey, I put makeup on. You could show my photo.
Yeah, this is going to be on YouTube too.
I think he means the training photo.
the training photos.
video.
Oh yeah, no, we don't want training photos. No. Those are not pretty.
Hey, John,
Bye,
thanks
guys.
for your service, John.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
appreciate that.
we echo that.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
Yes, thank
Enjoy the
you.
rest of your day.
See you later.
Bye-bye
Good to
now.
see
Nice
y'all.
meeting you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.